Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I think we'll just get started. Now, just before I do the introductions, just to let you know that we are recording this session. So for whatever reason, if you end up losing connection, which I think is happening to one of the nurseries that has joined us this afternoon, unfortunately, or if you have to dash off for whatever reason, please don't worry. The session is being recorded and we'll make that available for you really soon. I've posted the link to where all our recorded webinars are uploaded to. We have a digital team blog and I'll share all the links again with you at the end. So my name is Eva Wilkinson and I'm one of the Digital Skills Development Officers here at Education Scotland, and my colleague George has joined me online tonight as well. And George is going to help me demonstrate how the real-time collaboration and communication can work using G Suite in the Glow environment. Before I joined the team a couple of years ago, I was an early years officer in West Lothian, and George is a primary and early years colleague as well. Okay. So first off, what is Glow? So Glow is a national online platform for all of Scotland's learners and educators. Every learner and practitioner in each of Scotland's 32 local authorities have access to Glow. They just might not all have their Glow logins yet. Glow offers a number of tools and services to help you as an educator to enrich and enhance learning across the curriculum. You can share materials, design online resources and activities to engage learners, and also take part in professional learning opportunities. And we're going to have a wee look at where you can access them today. You can speak to colleagues across the country, as well as colleagues that you work beside in your own establishment, or if you're a childminder, other childminders within your networks as well. And it really can open up the potential for so much collaborative working. As well as the support that you can access from our team, you can also tap into support on Glow Connect. So this is an open website and anybody can access this, and it's a supporting website for Glow, and it contains lots of useful information and help and support. So things like how do you get access to Glow if you don't have a login already, some advice for passwords, technical help, what else does it have? Oh, an absolute array of information, and we'll cover some of that later on as well. Things like what can I store on Glow, what sort of files can I save on Glow, things like that. And depending on what local authority you're based in, if you're local authority based, the productivity suites that you have access to might differ. So everybody that has a Glow login has access to Microsoft Office 365. And we had a webinar about that yesterday, but some local authorities also have access to G Suite for Education, so the Google offer of products. Some local authorities might also have their own private tenancies to either of these suites that sit outside of Glow as well, so each are all very different. But tonight we're going to focus at the tools that are available within G Suite. And the purpose of our webinar is to look at how these tools can help collaboration and communication between practitioners. Access to Glow is restricted to learners and educators. However, there's a number of resources, and we'll cover some of these tonight, that you can use to share to keep parents and carers informed about children's learning and things that are happening in your setting. So within Google Drive, this symbol here, we're going to look at how we can work in collaboration on shared files. And these shared files are live files that are all backed up onto the cloud. So you always have the latest and most recent version of the file. We're also going to have a look at Jamboard, which is a fun, creative collaboration app, a bit like a whiteboard, or some have described it as a sticky Velcro board. And then we're going to have a look at Google Meet, which is where we're meeting tonight, and that can offer online video conferencing with screen sharing options. So just some of the benefits of online collaboration and communication. And I think what I always find really, really helpful about working this way, and especially now, not just in the sort of climate that we're in just now with all the restrictions, but also with the changes of the 1140 expansion, and you might not necessarily be working the same time or the same days, you know, as all the staff that are in your centre. So this can really help join up those dots. It can, you know, help you save a bit of time. It can cut down travel time. So you might be in, you know, a working group, a working cluster group, or you might be in a work stream, or you know, there might be a nursery network that you're part of that involves, you know, meeting up every so often somewhere else. All of this can now happen and be done online. Okay, so we're going to go over to the Glow Launchpad and we're going to have a wee look at how we access some of the things that we have spoken about already tonight. Okay, so to access Glow, in your browser or your search bar, you type Glow RM Unify. And the very first web result that comes up is the Glow login page. So you pop in your username and your password. Now, my username might look slightly different to your username. Each local authority maybe have a different beginning and a different ending. When I was a practitioner in West Lothian, my username began with a WL and it ended in .sch for school. But I'll show you how you can find pupils' Glow usernames in just a second. Okay, so once you've logged in, I have done earlier on another screen here, it brings you into the Glow Launchpad. Now there's a few different launchpads here, and down the side is where you can toggle between them. So the first one that it opens up onto by default is My Launchpad. That's your personal launchpad, and My Launchpad I'm sure will look completely different from Georgie's and completely different from anyone else's, because I have personalised it with the apps, the shortcuts or the tiles that I use most frequently. I'm going to have a wee look at that just soon. In the middle then you will have your local authority launchpad. I don't have that because I'm not local authority based, but one that we do have in common is the national one. We all have a Scotland launchpad with shortcuts on there that will all be the same. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to my personal launchpad first of all. And we're going to have a wee look at how we can add tiles. So the tile that we're looking for tonight to access our Google Drive, our G Suite tools, is this one here, Google Drive. So we look for the blank tile that has the Add button on it, and we click Add. And then we're going to look for an app from Library first. We would then do a search in the search box. Or if you have time, you can browse through the whole catalogue that's available in there. And then it's brought up, I've typed in Google and it's brought up all the tiles in relation to Google. So I would then be selecting Google Drive and I would be selecting Add to Launchpad. Now I already have it on, so it's just asking me if I want to remove it. So let's demonstrate that. Okay, so there's a tile maybe that I no longer want to have on my Launchpad, or perhaps I've added it by accident. I'm going to click on Edit Launchpad, and then I'm just going to remove by clicking on the X, and that will take that tile away off my Launchpad. So let's look at that again. How do we add a tile? We look for the blank tile with the Add box on it, App from Library, Google, and then we select Google Drive and Add to my Launchpad. Just close this box down. And then if we look for the little rocket, that takes us back to our Launchpad. Now I've got quite a few things on my Launchpad. It's quite busy, but I know that the most recent one I've added will appear at the bottom. But I would like it to be at the top because I know that I'm going to be using that tile every day. So then I'm going to click on Edit Launchpad. Now I could either drag and drop, or I can just simply renumber to where I would like the tile to appear, and then save changes. And I now have it here at the very beginning. Now, a couple of other places, handy places to have on your Glow Launchpad would be this one here. This is the RM People Directory. So if you're looking for somebody and you don't know what their Glow address is, you can then type their name in, do a search, and it's going to give you their Glow address there. So that's really handy. And that one is called the RM People Directory tile. Now, another place, or another couple of places that I think you might be quite interested in, is this tile here, the Professional Learning Communities tile. This is the national community tile for all the professional learning communities that we have access to in Glow. So within these professional learning communities, there's a whole range of resources, examples from practice, key policy documents, there's discussions that you can get involved in, examples of resources that learners have shared. So let's go first of all into the early learning and childcare one. Let's have a wee look in here. Okay, so it gives you a description. And then scrolling down, we can access all our key documents. So we've got how good are early learning and childcare, realising the ambition, curricular documents in there as well. And then down to key websites such as EESC, the Care Inspectorate there as well. And then scrolling down a wee bit further, we've got some news posts and then the conversation posts that we've been talking about. So this here is a thread from Yammer, which is a Microsoft conversation tool. And then this here is a thread from Twitter. So even if you're not a social media user, if social media is not your thing, but you would still like to be, up to date with all the news that's going on social media, you can catch up on it here on this site. Now, what about if you want to find out what are other centres doing, what are other practitioners up to, what have they been sharing? You can click here and you can either upload resources of your own, or you can tap into what other people have been sharing. So I'm just going to have a little look in this documents resource here. And I'm just going to scroll down. Okay, and then I can see somebody's added a document here. I've got other documents down the bottom that may be of interest to me. I'm just going to go back and have a look in one of those other places, sharing practice. Yes, this is where I might find some more information from other practitioners. So I've got some things along here. Let's see this one here. So here's a folder here, and it's from Bauhaus ELC, and they have uploaded some slides, some PowerPoints, posters that are all about their Innovation Awards. So it's like a storyboard that talks you through the journey of their Innovation Awards. So that's there for everybody to have a wee look at and get some ideas for their own centre there as well. Let's go back to our home. So that's one of the national communities. I'm just going to come out of that and I'm going to go back in. Now there's other places in there such as developing the young workforce, expressive arts have a national professional learning community, there's a health and wellbeing community, a science, technologies, there's a whole range. Let's just have a quick look in here as well. So if there is, some key documents or some specific resources that you're looking for, these are the places to have a research in. Now you might have noticed there's also a shortcut that takes you directly to the National Early Learning and Childcare Professional Learning Community. That one looks just like that. At the beginning, when we selected add a new tile, you might have noticed this option for a personal tile. So this is where you can add a website. It might be, you might have a blog, or it might be your local authority landing page, it might be a council page, it could be absolutely anything. It might be, a resource that you use quite often. So you can then add the link in there. So let's just go to for our demo. Let's pull up BBC News, copy and paste the link. And then I'm just going to pop the address in there, give it a title, BBC News. Now, I can either upload an image if there's an image that I would really like to see appear on my Launchpad, or I can generate one from the website. So I'll pull one from the website. It's not always the best, and you might want to add your own. And then once I click OK, I've now got that shortcut there down the bottom. Okay. So what about Glow Connect? Remember we said there's a supporting site for all things Glow. glowconnect.org.uk, and this is what it looks like. So it gives you lots of information. Glow for Educators is probably the one that you'll find most useful here. And then information about how to get a Glow login. But here we have Glow Community Rules, and this is one just to bear in mind. And it's not just for learners, it's for practitioners as well in the Glow environment. So there's community rules there. And then we have further password guidance. We want to keep Glow a secure environment, so we really need to be very careful about passwords and make sure that our passwords are strong and we're careful with them and that they're secure. So there's some password guidance there. And then this file here, PDF file for educators, all about Glow. Gives you some information. If you're wondering what sort of files are, what can I store on Glow? Is Glow a suitable place to store these kind of files or those kind of files? And then it gives you some scenarios here. So if you would, if you're happy for the information to be shared open in a classroom, yep, green, go, put it on Glow. If you're happy for it to be overheard amongst colleagues in the staff room, just treat that one with caution. Think about who your audience is. And, if it's private information, such as child protection information that you wouldn't want, discussed out with the people that need to know, then absolutely not. Don't put it on Glow. So have a wee look at that if you're going to be starting to use it to organise your resources and files. Okay, so that is the Glow Connect website. Oh, and just up the top, quite a handy place to look is the Glow service status. And that can give you some insight if there's ever connection issues, or if there's any parts of Glow, any of the services are down. You can find that out there. So that was, just go back and show you that again. Glow service status. Okay, so I think that's enough about Glow just now. So let's get back into Google Drive. Okay, so let's pretend that George is a new colleague. He has just joined our nursery today, and we've gone paperless. We don't have all the head teachers folders outside in the corridor anymore on the bookshelf. We're saving the trees and we're trying to work more efficiently and have the information in an instant. We don't have to wait anymore on somebody finishing with a folder, or somebody working on a document on the PC or the laptop or whatever your device is, and then doing the whole file, save as, emailing it on to the next person with a different version date. We've got a much more streamlined, much more smoother way of working now. So I've just come into my Drive. These are some of the folders that I'm working on and some of the files that I'm working on here. But what I would like to do is I would like to just create something completely new here. So I would like to create a new folder. And I'm going to call it Induction. And that has added the folder now to my Drive. So within that folder, I would like to add a file that I know that George needs to read over before he starts. So what I could do here is I can add a new file like I did with a folder, and it gives me the choice of the different types of files that I could add. But I've actually got something on my device already. Before I started using Glow, I've got lots of files that I had on a memory stick, and I'm going to pull them all now into the Glow environment. So I'm going to go to File, Upload. And then on my desktop, I have a little folder. This one here. And in here, I have some child protection information. So I'm just going to upload that. Now, it's not sensitive information, it's a concern form. So it's got no details on it about any children. So I've now uploaded that into the drive there. So I'm just going to go a step back to my drive. I've got the folder there and I've got the document in it. Now, I would like to share this with George, so I've just right-clicked on it and I'm going to share the whole folder now with George. Okay. Now, I could copy and paste a link. Let's say I had an email open and I was sending him lots of different things. I could do it that way, or I could just search for him. I knew his Glow name, you see, so that's where that RM Unify tile comes in really handy. Okay, so that's now, it's going to notify George. I could put a wee message on to go along with it, and I have chosen that I want him to be able to edit these files. So I'd like him to be able to complete the wellbeing concern form as if it was a real concern, but just, you know, doing a mock one just so he gets the hang of doing it. We're not going to do that today, because that would take a wee bit of time, but just so that you get the idea, that's how you would then share a file with somebody or a folder. So let's say it's a few days later and George has completed all his induction information and I've been able to see all of that. I would now like to give him access to the staff folder. So this is our staff shared folder where we have various pieces of information in it. So again, I'm just going to right click on it and I'm going to share it. And I'm going to look for George again. And I would again like him to be able to edit this folder. Okay, so I've shared that with George and he'll now be able to have access to everything that's inside. So we've got a whole host of different types of files in here. And today we're having a staff meeting. And instead of waiting until the end, so instead of just taking notes and then somebody typing it up at the end, we're all just going to collaborate on the one document at the same time. So I'm going to add a new document. It's going to be a Google Doc, which is like your Microsoft Word document. Oops, let's give it a title first up here. It's going to do that anyway, wasn't it? Meeting actions. Meeting actions November. Okay, and I'm going to, just to keep everything tidy, I'm just going to put in a little table here. Okay, action, progress, and initials. Okay, so there's a couple of things that have came up in our meeting today. So George will now have access to this file in that folder, and we're both just going to start typing in some of the actions that came up from the meeting so that you can see the real-time collaborative working. So one of the things that came up, we need to do an Eco Schools audit. And we're going to have a look for some festive art materials. Okay, you seen that folder or that file there? Okay, George, it'll maybe just with connection, maybe just take a wee minute, but if not, I can share it with you again. Okay.
It keeps moving. Sorry, yeah, it's just I was just typing a message to say I've not got access to it yet. I've just tried refreshing my page.
No problem. We'll just do that again. Okay, so it's maybe just connection. Just take a wee minute or two. As your correct Glow account, yeah, right. So when George has access, he would then be able to come in and we'd be able to see that he was in on this document as well, and we'd be able to see where he is typing. So I'll maybe just come out of it and go back into it just to make sure.
Yeah, that's me got it now.
Yeah, just to refresh it. Sometimes you just need to do a wee refresh. Okay, so where did we go again? We were in meetings and we were in meeting actions. So this can just really save you a lot of time. It can be done, you know, face to face. You could be working on a file like this together. You could be working on a file like this over the phone. You know, it just saves you having to do that whole file save as and waiting for other people to share the file. So you can see there that George is in this document at the very same time. So we're collaborating in real time. I can see he's there as well. And we'll always have the most up-to-date current version of the file as well. So that was just a really quick example there of using docs, and now we're going to move on to slides, which is like the equivalent of PowerPoint if you were using Microsoft before. Thanks, George. Okay, so back to my drive, back to this demo folder that we're using, and then this time we're going to go in here to learning stories. Okay, so we're going to create a learning story together using Google Slides. So we already we've got learning walls, or we might have floor books that, you know, the children really have ownership of. So it's somewhere where they can make, they can add their photos, they can add their drawings. But we've found ourselves now, because of technology, we've got all these pieces of rich media. So we've got voice recordings, we've got video clips, you know, we've got some really, really rich pieces of footage that we would like to use alongside our paper copies. So things that, you know, can really enhance and enrich the learning, and it would help us to then be able to share with parents and carers as well, because it would, you know, it would take such a long time for the floor book to go backwards and forwards, and, you know, it would get tatty, you wouldn't always have access to it, and due to current restrictions we probably wouldn't be able to do that anyway. So let's see if we can make an interactive version of our floor book. So this time we're going to create a new Google slide, and it's asking me, it's reminding me that I'm creating this in a shared folder, so that means everybody will have access, and that's absolutely fine. So we have our paper floor book already there, and what we can do from that is we can keep it going, and we can add the sort of more rich pieces of information to our slides. So our topic at the moment, that children's interest, is on hibernation. They've been drawing various animals in hibernation, been out in the garden, and one of the try-at-home activities was if they could have a look in their local environment, see if they could spot any signs of hibernation. Some children have been bringing in printed out photographs, and some have been emailing, some parents and carers have been emailing these photos in. So we are going to use them on our interactive floor book. So I'm going to insert an image. Now I could pull one already from my Google Drive if I had photographs in there, but I know that I have one that I saved from my email, and that's on my folder. And I'm just going to have a wee look for that here. Let me see if I can find my folder. There we are. Okay, so somebody has brought in this lovely picture. I'm just going to add that on here now. And George, I think, did somebody do, did you have a nice drawing maybe that one of the children in your group shared? So they're not currently at nursery at the moment, and they emailed in, their parents and carers emailed in a photograph, so we could maybe add that one to the slides. So we could be both collaborating on this at the same time. And also, I'm sure somebody actually emailed me in a video as well. Oops, I don't want to add a video from YouTube. I'd like to add one from... Because I would like parents and carers to be able to see what's going on, we can also then add in a little screenshot of the floor books as well, so we could, you know, make sure that that learning was going home at the same time for children to keep the conversations going, and then revisit the learning at home as well. Now, George, you might know the answer to this here. Where can we upload a video? So I think when we go to video, it just gives me the option. So it has to be on my Google Drive already. So I don't think I can upload a video straight from my desktop, can I? It has to be from my Google Drive.
Yeah, that's right. Or YouTube.
Yeah, or YouTube. I would have to put it in there first, but that's, we could do that. So let's just say we have, you know, there's lots more in here, loads of rich media. There's photographs, there's videos, there's even, you know, there can be audio recordings. So whether you have that in a file or whether you happen to be sitting with the children, you can pop in recordings there as well from your drive. Now, I'm quite happy with this. Let's say it's got lots and lots of pages. Now we would like to share it. So there's various, let's give it a title. Always forget about that. And that's good housekeeping to always give it a title at the beginning. Okay, so I could share it again here like I've done with George with the rest of the nursery. But I would like this to be accessible for learning at home. And down the bottom here, I'm just going to change it to anyone with a link. That's going to be my option now. So anyone with a link can view this slide. They can view this learning story. You do have the option to change if you would like people to be able to comment and people to be able to edit. But just always bear in mind just the whole equity of access, you know, and what devices and what internet connections do people have. Keep that in mind. But certainly, if we've been able to share to view, you can do that really easily. And then it gives you a link, which you can then get the link and then you can pop it on, whether it's in an email, whether you communicate through group call. You might want to create the link and put it into a QR code so that it can be scanned, so that it's really easily accessible. And that's something that I used to do with the floor books. I used to then put a QR code in the paper floor book so that the children could then access the rich media at the same time as well. So as well as being able to look through their paper floor books with, you know, where they've marked makes and they've all had ownership, they could then look at the video clips and the sort of the more rich media parts of that learning as well via QR code. Great. So do we have any questions? Thanks, George. Okay. Please just use the chat box if anybody does have any questions. Feel free if there's anything that's not been clear or anything that's maybe been a wee bit too fast, we can go over it again by all means. Okay, so I'm just going to come out of that one at the moment. Now the next thing I would like to have a wee look at here is we're going to do, as a staff team, we're going to do some self-evaluation. Now you might be familiar with Google Forms, where you can survey and have quizzes. So let's have a quick look at what a form looks like. I would like a blank form. Okay, so I've put this into the staff team, so everybody would be able to get access to this form. But I might also want to use my form. I might want to survey parents and carers. You know, I might want to use it to find out what day suits them best, you know, for certain events to happen. There's a whole reason that you might want to do surveys and use Microsoft Forms. But let's pretend that we are having a self-evaluation and we could put more of a description there so people know what we're looking at. Oops, daisy. So we're going to look at, in November, we're going to look at 3.3. So we're going to look at developing creativity and skills for life and learning. Okay, but I'm not going to pop all of that in at the moment. Let's look at one of those elements of it, which is developing digital skills. And I'd like the staff to have a wee think about where they think we are currently with that. So the options then we can choose from. They could give me a short answer, they could give me a longer answer. I could put some suggestions for multiple choice, check boxes, drop down menu. They could upload a file to show how they think we're meeting that. But for the purpose of this one, I want them to have a think about what score they would give us, so where we are. So I'm going to use the 6-point scale here. I'm not going to give it a description. And then I'm just going to have a first of all, make sure that it's a required question that they need to fill it in. So I'm just going to have a wee look at it to make sure I'm happy with how it looks. Okay, yep, so I've got all my options there. Okay, so now I would like to share this form. So again, I can send it via email. I can create a link for the form, or I can embed the form. So if it was a survey for parents and carers, I might want to embed the form if we are using a blog. Now here again, if I wanted George to help me to create this survey for all staff, I could add him again here as a collaborator, and he would then have those rights to be able to collaborate on the form. So let's get a link to the form. Also gives you the option to shorten the URL, which is super handy as well. Copy. Okay, and I'm just actually going to put it in our meeting chat. That's where I'll put it. And then everybody can have a wee go. Click on that link and have a wee go if you can at answering one of the questions. And then in real time, I'll be able to see the responses come in. Now, there's a whole other range of options. You know, you can personalise your themes. There's various things you can do. And at the end, we're going to show you where you can access bite-sized videos that will take you through all of these steps in much more detail. So tonight is more of an overview, really looking at how we can use these tools for collaboration and communication. So you can see there that I've had some results coming back from staff already, telling me where they think we are. And it's really great to see that, you know, we're at the top end of the scale. So that's fantastic. But now I would like to ask staff to show me how you know. So you think we're here, that's great, I'm happy, I would probably agree, but where is our evidence? Okay. So back to my drive. Let's have a wee look at Jamboard now. Back in our self-evaluation folder, let's have a new Google Jamboard. Okay, so think of this as a big whiteboard or a big sticky Velcro. And in the middle here, I'm just going to add a new sticky note, 3.3. Okay, and that would be developing creativity. Okay, I'm not going to go into too much detail there. Okay, so that one will go in the middle. Then in a different colour here, let's look at developing digital skills. Okay, and then in here, different colour, develop creativity. Okay, and that will do for now. So here we go with our overarching one just in the middle. Okay, and I'll just pop these around the other side. So how do we know? How do we know where we are? Well, we need to show the evidence, don't we? And we could either do this we could be typing, we could be adding more post-it notes, we could be using the pen. And if George, if you have access to this one, which I hope you have now. You can feel free to come in here and upload some of the evidence. So you know, you might all be quite familiar with, let me get it here, you know, self-evaluation that can look a wee bit like this when you're all working together, and then, you know, at the end of the meeting, somebody gets the job of, you know, collating all these notes and typing it all up and putting it out somewhere. Or saving it somewhere for everybody then to share. So you can really omit that step, have the same sort of bit of staff dialogue, the same sort of activity, and you can do it here online. Now again, you can share it if you wanted to share it as a Jamboard with people in your organisation, or what you might want to do is you might want to download it as a PDF and then you can save it, you know, wherever within your other folders, or you might want to save it as an image. Perhaps you might want to make it into a slideshow, or you might want to put it into your presentation into Google Slides. You can do it that way as well. So that is Google Jamboard. And if you happen to have a device that's touch screen as well, you can draw straight onto it, or you can use the mouse to make links and things. Really bad example of an arrow there, it wasn't my base. So that one there is Google Jamboard. Have we got any questions coming in about that? So can practitioners who don't have a Glow account have access to this if sharing during training? Yes, so those that don't have a Glow account can meet us in Google Meet. So that's the reason why we've had more meetings in Google Meet. All of the previous webinars were in Microsoft Teams, but you need a Glow account to access that. So we've done a bit of surveying and we've been using Google Meet, because to meet in Google Meet all you need is a Gmail account. So if you don't have a Glow account, you can meet us like this in Google Meet. A few of the webinars that are coming up for early learning and childcare practitioners they're going to take place either twice in a day or twice in the week. There'll be a morning one and an afternoon one. One will be in Teams within the Glow environment, and one will be on Google Meet. But we're continually looking for new ways to make them more accessible to everybody. And in the summer term, we're going to be offering the webinars again, but later on at night at probably about 7 p.m. Need to double check my survey results, but that might suit some practitioners who are working a full day and can't join the meetings at this time of night. So I hope that answered your question. That's good. Thanks, George. Thanks for demonstrating that for us. So that one there is Jamboard. Okay, now I'm just going to go back here. I'm back in my drive. You'll always click at the top left. It'll take you right back out to the beginning of your drive. And what I would like to do now is I would like to look at Google Meet. I would like to have a meeting for transition with my associated primary school. So we would like to have a wee chat with the teachers and the practitioners from them, just to start our planning. So how things are a wee bit different this year. How are we going to ensure that children still have a smooth transition? So I'm going to open here another place, so you can either access tools from down the side, or you can use the little waffle which has the 9 dots here, and I'm going to open up my calendar. And I'm going to ask them to meet me tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So I just click on the time and date that I'm looking for. Oops, there we go. And already it has the option add Google Meet video conferencing. So I've clicked on that because I would really like to be able to see each other, and I would like to be able to file share and things with them as well. Okay, so give my meeting a title. I just want just a one-off, so I'm not going to have it repeat, but if I wanted it to repeat, if it was going to be a regular meeting, then I could do that. I might want to directly add guests. I don't have to do it this way because you joined a meeting without me adding you this way. I created a link for you to join our meeting, but I might want to, let's see, I'm going to add George to this meeting by name. He's going to be one of the guests. He's going to help host this meeting with me, and also I can give him the permission here to make any changes to the meeting after I have set it up. So I could pop in a little description. I might want to add a file so that there's an agenda prepared beforehand, and then you can also select when you want notifications to pop through via your G Drive as well, but I'm happy with 10 minutes. That'll suit me just now, and I'm just going to save this. Would you like to send invitation emails to Google Calendar? Yes, it's always quite nice to do that, isn't it? It's good housekeeping, and it's just polite to do that, but you don't have to. Okay, so let's fast forward a few hours. It's Friday morning. I'm going to open up my calendar invite, and I'm just going to join this Google Meet. This is where it sometimes gets a wee bit confusing, and I'll forget what tab I've got open because I'm in a Google Meet within a Google Meet. But hopefully I'll find my way back. And George, if you could join this one as well, that would be great. We'll both have to probably mute inside the demo meeting, or it'll get really echoey. Okay, so I'm going to join a meeting. I'm not going to have my camera on. I'm definitely not going to have my microphone on so you don't hear the noise. And then I'm going to join the meeting. Okay, so I can see George is already in this meeting. And what I might want to do now at this stage is I might want to present. So I might want to present my entire screen, which is quite often what I do. And then I can pull up, you know, a presentation or a Word document or whatever it is that I'm working on. Okay, so I'm just going to stop sharing that one just now. Hopefully I stopped sharing the right meeting and you can all still see us. What else you have in there? You can turn on captions so that when you are speaking, the captions will come up onto the screen. There they are. Okay, my mouse was in the way there. A few other things that you can do when you're in a meeting as well. You can record the meeting like I am just now, and that will record a video of the meeting and it'll go directly into your G Drive. And it also gives you a transcript of the chat as well. So any of the chat that you might not have had a chance to answer during a meeting, that'll all come up there as well. So really handy. And I'm just going to show you another way to set up the meeting as well. I'll hang up on this one. Okay, so invited George there by email. Let's have another one here, transition to, let's have all our details in. I don't need to add any guests this time. Let's come up here. And then when I go into it here, I get the meeting ID. So this is where I just copy and paste and I pop these links into Eventbrite so that you could join. So they could go anywhere else. It might be in a meeting, it might be in an email, you know, just wherever you're communicating, you can pop them in there. So if you have, you know, colleagues that don't have a Go account, that's absolutely fine. All they need is a Gmail account to bring you into the meeting like what you did today. Now, just make sure that you are fully aware of what your local authority guidance is on video calling. And the best thing you can do is just, you know, check what your either your Glow Key contact says or your local authority information security officer, just to make sure you're complying with local authority privacy and safeguarding guidance. Okay, and if you're not sure, let's just go back to Glow Connect. If you're not sure who to contact within your local authority, at this point here, Glow Contacts, you can scroll down each of the local authorities and it'll give you some advice on who to contact. So sometimes it's a named person, sometimes it's an inbox, or there might be other information there with phone numbers and things like that as well. So if you're not sure, those are the people to contact. There's also within Glow Connect as well, there's some really handy do's and don'ts as well for having video meetings. So just, you know, really practical things as well, making sure that your you know, your background's either blurred or you're not sitting somewhere with, you know, you've got personal photographs and things in the background. You know, it's just about keeping yourself safe and secure as well. Okay, so I'm just going to come out of that and go back to our slides. Okay, so what have we had a look at this afternoon then? Just to recap, we have had a look at Google Drive, we've had a look at Jamboard, had a little look at Forms as well, and we've had a look at Google Meet there too. And where can we access more support? I've said a few times, we've got small bite-sized videos That's on our digilearn.scot blog. So there's a whole host of videos there to support the Microsoft and the Google environment. They're short bite-sized videos that will take you through things step by step. So if it was something like creating a survey from forms, or setting up a meeting, or just navigating through G Drive, getting the most out of your G Drive, all those pieces of information are there. Now, we have spoke about Glow Connect already, and on the National Launchpad, on the Scottish Launchpad, there's shortcuts to Glow Connect, and there's also a shortcut to reporting a concern. So if you ever come across anything when you're in the Glow environment that you think is inappropriate, you can create a concern, and that gets passed straight to the Glow team. So whether it be, you know, something you've maybe seen inappropriate content from learners or from practitioners, you can certainly share that concern with the Glow team, and they will action that. If, of course, it's of a child protection nature, then you would follow your local authority guidance first and foremost, anyway, and contact your designated member of staff, or whatever the protocols are, that would come. So we have our blog, our DigiLearn Scot blog, and in there you have a section for webinars. So that's going to take you to upcoming webinars and webinar catch-up. So the webinars that you may have missed, they are all in there as well. And the webinar catch-up takes you to a DigiLearn Scot YouTube page where you can access a whole array of videos, and it's not just webinar videos as well. There's some examples of practice in there where we've captured practitioners and children, young people talking about their learning. So there's a whole variety of videos in there that you might find interesting. And we have a DigiLearn Scot Twitter page as well. So this is an open account. You don't need to be a Twitter user to join this. You can simply just go onto Twitter, do a search for it at DigiLearn Scot, and you can scroll through and see, you know, what's the latest digital news, you know, what are we shouting about, and what examples of practice are we sharing as well. And if you're ever tweeting about anything, if you use the hashtag DigiLearnScot, we get a notification, and then we can share that as well. So it's all about educator confidence and creating a real community across the country. If digital is high up on the agenda in your centre, or if it's just something that you're really interested in for professional development as well, take a wee minute to have a look at the Digital Schools Awards Scotland website. Now, even if you're not at the stage of applying to become a digital school, when you create an account, it then allows you access to the validation framework. So you can have a look and find out, you know, what sort of things inside leadership and vision or school culture are they looking for. And this is open to early learning and childcare, primary and secondary. And there's a second award for cyber resilience and internet safety now as well. But what I really like about Digital Schools Award is you can use their website to do a filtered search to find out what nurseries, what schools, what secondary schools, primary schools have the award. And the ones that show up in red are mentor schools or mentor nurseries. And those are the settings that have said that they'll help support other settings on their journey as well. So you can get in touch with them, whether it's an email or a phone call, and, you know, ask, can you give me a couple of practical examples, or could you please share your report with me, just, you know, to give us some pointers to help us on our way as well. So good place to look. And then that's really everything that our webinar was hoping to cover tonight. And thanks, George, for putting all